What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, the D, aka Captain of the Thunder God Pirates here, and I just want to say, I lived. But your boy's back, and I have missed you all like 26 of you. I don't think I only have 26 subscribers. If you're hearing that and that makes your heart sad, like, comment, subscribe. But anyway, real quick before we get into the review, because yet again, we are here to review One Piece chapter 1007. And it came from that light cough. Your boy had, like, thankfully I'm free of the big thing. I wouldn't mention it, but I think that kind of hurts. I think saying it would really hurt my discoverability, and I really don't want that. But before we get into the review, yeah, I've been sick, but your boy is back. I've missed y'all, and I want to make more videos. Yeah, I still got to do that finish my Hidden Village series. I think that was the last video I put out before I almost died. Definitely want to get back to my chapter reviews. I think I might want to reincorporate Black Clover, and I really want to talk about My Hero Academia. Now that we're done with that whole war thing, things are getting interesting. But I really want to do that, and just want to, just talk about anime. I love anime, and I love anime, and I want to talk about the things that I love. Being anime, I got a lot of ideas that I don't really know how to incorporate, but we're gonna do that. Also, just another plug, I am also a game streamer. I go by the_D_20 over on Twitch, so definitely hit me up on Twitch. I stream a variety of games like RPGs, like platformers, like first-person shooters. I'm a variety streamer, and I would love, if you want to interact with me more in real time, definitely hit me up over there. Also, I do occasionally tweet about anime and my opinions on Twitter. That's at darkspade09. Yet again, I'm gonna have that on the screen. I'm gonna have both my Twitch and my Twitter on screen. So if you think you want to follow me, hear about my opinions, and be notified when I go live and when I post videos, if you didn't hit that bell icon, definitely hit me up over there. But to get a little serious, like, look, I don't know where you fall on the whole mask versus non-mask, vaccine versus non-vaccine, or COVID is a hoax or not. But coming from a person who had a mild form of the virus, please wear your mask, socially distance, and if you're not feeling well, stay the fuck home. Like, geez. Like I said, I had a mild, I'm not gonna talk about my experience too in depth here, because yeah, this is a One Piece review, but for real, if you feel sick, don't go out, and even if you don't feel sick, use your common sense. They are scientists who've spent their lives studying viruses and illnesses, and this is no different. Please, use your head, stay home, let's get this shit over with, because this shit ain't fun. But without further ado, we gotta talk about One Piece. And just to give you a quick preview, I'm not happy with this chapter. I'm really not happy with this chapter. Like, you may have read it. I've read it twice now, and whew, Oda, I love you to death, my dude, but it's a lot of things. This ain't it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. And thank you for joining me. All right. And we're going to go ahead and get started. One Piece, chapter 1007. Mr. Raccoon Dog. All right, we start in the performance floor inside the dome, and here I had kind of a problem with how this chapter kind of skips over everything, and how this arc. Not gonna lie, I kind of felt this coming, because we then see that some of the commanders of the Samurai Force and some of the commanders of the Oniwabanchu are already down, and we didn't get to see what the fuck they could do. Like, yet again, okay, one thing we have to get straight with One Piece. One Piece is a long story, but funny enough, I'd say about 90% of the shit that we've ever gotten from Oda has always been substantial. So it's hard to believe, but yeah, I remember when I read chapter 957 Ultimate for the first time, it's like, okay, we're in the end game, which is 50 chapters ago, which, damn, that was more than a year ago. But anyway, yeah, it's like we're in the end game now. It's like, Oda can't just draw shit out like he used to. It's like, okay, it's about time we start getting into the meat and potatoes, the One Piece. So a lot of shit he can't just elongate and really, swag out like you normally would. And this is one of the things. It's like, okay, look, I didn't want every member of the Oniwabanshu to get their own arc per se, but I at least want to see kind of what they were working with. But we're not getting that, at least from the few we see, because we see at least 4. Daikoku, Kazekage, and Commander Hote, who was the commander of the Orochi Samurai Force, and a couple others in the background. Okay, we're not gonna get to see what they have to do. At least that's not how it looks. So we then cut to the Beast saying, because last chapter, we had Hyogoro go ham and really show what he was capable of. So everybody's like, oh man, that's the power of the legendary Yakuza. And even Apu was like, hey, so that's what he could do. And he resisted the effect, but of the Ice Oni virus, but used his power to his own advantage. And even Drake is like, okay, now I can kind of see why nobody fucked with Wano for so long. And then another thing that I don't like, look, I kind of figured, okay, and I'm gonna kind of jump around. I kind of figured Hyogoro wasn't gonna die, okay? And that kind of, that sentiment, it kind of feeds into something that I really don't like about One Piece. Like I said, it's my favorite anime and manga ever, so I love it. But even then, because I love it so much, I can really, damn near not objectively, but with the great precision, I can figure out what a lot of things that Oda does wrong, or tropes that he utilizes that I really don't like. So pretty much dude who had the sword, he pretty much hovers over this motherfucker for 5 minutes crying and shit. And yet again, I understand, because we then go on to see that, all the Yakuza bosses are crying. It's like he was a father to all of them. Even though they each were the bosses of their own regions, Kuri, Ringo, in the other regions, it's like, okay, he was the boss of all of them, and he was somebody they looked up to. And I get it, I really do. But when what happens, it cheapens this. It's and when we get to the anime, they're going to swag us out. This is going to be fucking half an episode. It's they're going to be crying, remembering times with Hyogoro. And then finally, and it's bruh, they go through the entire hall, and they're asking hey, is the medicine ready yet? Hey, what's up with the medicine? And they're not getting any response from Chopper. They're doing their thing. So then the beasts go on, and some of the samurai are also hey, help us, Queen. And then Queen, which he does what we all knew he would what we knew he'd do. He does the bad guy thing, oh, we don't care about you, which we know. The Beast Pirates, if you're not the creme de la creme, because it kind of seems like the only motherfuckers in this crew who really fucking matter are Kaido, the Calamities, and the Tobiropo, and a couple of the headliners, the really close people. But it's outside of those 10, well, 9 with Drake being a traitor, but outside of the Tobiropo, if you're below the Tobiropo, they don't give a fuck. That's kind of how it's been seen. Because hell, even then, even with Big Mom's crew, we got to see that even outside her children, she has legit crew members, Peckham's. How Peckham's was look, man, I fuck with y'all. When the whole Kick Island thing was going down, he was okay, I fuck with y'all, but I am a Big Mom pirate. Let's not get that confused. I'd actually do fuck with her. And even here, it's okay, so they're really, so besides the Tobiro, like I said, from Tobiropo up are the only true beast pirates. Everybody else really ain't here for that shit. There's nobody who's okay, I truly believe in Kaido's dream. Well, he does this, that, and the other. I'm okay, fuck it. I don't care. That's how he operates, and I'm just down with it. So Queen here does the shut up, you nobodies, nobody cares, blah blah blah. So he goes on to say, he calls out the lowest of the lows, the pleasures and the waiters. He's fuck y'all and fuck y'all. He's pleasures, you tried, you failed, you're useless. All you motherfuckers do is laugh. I don't care. Waiters, you know, hey, we're not getting any more fruits, so y'all are essentially fucking useless. So he's like, you know, look, I get infected with ice oni and become, at least die and be useful. And then, you know, and some of them are better. It's like, it sounds like you're telling us to die. He's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. We can always find more soldiers. And then, you know, they have the moment like where nobody realized this. And like I said, I understand they operate like that, but for there to be out of this entire crew, nobody who kind of understands that, like, look, because even King said it when he was talking to Toby Baropo, he was like, look, man, this is a meritocracy. If you want to move up in this crew, you got to do something. And and at least me personally, I'd respect it. It's like, hey, but like, it seems like there's nobody who really like, hey, I'm a beast pirate. It's always like, you know, hey, I'm a beast pirate, but it's like, if y'all aren't treating me right, then I'm gonna leave. And not gonna lie, that's a logical stance to take, but it's like none of y'all are like, man, I'm dying for the cause. It kind of asked me to, because look at the strides. As another example, like I said, I already gave like Peckhams, like even though he didn't agree with some of the shit Big Mom was doing, he was like, hey, look, I'm a Big Mom pirate. It's what I do. But even Strides, any of them, as we've seen in even this arc, like with Nami, when she was dealing with Ulti, when Ulti was like, look, if you sell out your captain and pretty much say you don't believe in him, I'll let you go. But you know, you're not Nami, tears in her eyes, was like, nah, bruh. It's like it's like with the Beast Pirates, there's nobody like that. I'm not saying it's necessarily a good or a bad thing, but it's kind of cliche, so it's like, So a lot of y'all have been on this crew for how long, and you don't really believe in this shit? Because it seems like, you know, Toby Baropo, they seem like they're all, you know, hey, we're here, like, you know, especially when they were talking about, you know, wanting to be close to Kaido. It's like, yeah, bro, we know your mission, we know what you're about, we know what you're doing, and we're here for it. And of course, you can probably say the same thing for the Calamity. It's like, yeah, we've been here the longest, we know what he's about, and we're cool with it. But moving on. So as everybody's kind of calling him out, and Queen is disseminating this information to all of them. You know, they're like, you know, hey, as soon as I survive this ordeal, I'm quit. Some people are like, hell, well, look, man, once I get out of this shit, I'm out. And you're like, hey, you know, where's the raccoon dog? You know, hey, where are the pirates doing? Like, I want some of the antidote. But then he even calls up the samurai on the other side. He's like, look, you might think you're fighting for good, but he's like, look, man, pirates are pirates. We stab each other in the back all the time. And it's like, look, do you really think they're going to be able to complete this virus? Well, complete the antibodies. And then, and Queen goes on to say, like, look, he's going to use that shit for himself. And, you know, he's going to make his way. So then we cut back to Hirogoro and the guy, you know, who's been holding his sword above his head this entire time. Like I said, when this comes in the anime, this is going to be like the most annoying part. This is going to be like fucking, Frieza, like he's like, oh, Namek stands explode in 5 minutes. Fucking 8 episodes later, and I'm sorry, but the fact of what happens next ruins the moment. When dude finally starts bringing his sword down, Chopper comes, and it looks like he put something in Hirogoro's mouth. He's like, I made it just in time. So pretty much, we had all that build up last chapter of Hirogoro going absolutely nuts, and he really showed his ass. He really like showed us like Hirogoro of the Flowers, like there's a reason he was the boss, and there's a reason, you know, he was like, man, if I might have helped Odin in them back then, shit might have been different. But yeah, all that build up, all that emotion spilled out and was for nothing. It's not even like, you know, he was on the brink of death, you know, bleeding out, and then at the last minute, you know, off screen, somebody's like, oh yeah, nigga's alive, bruh, but shit was looking bad. No. The very next chapter, nothing comes of it. And of course, everybody's happy about it. And then he's like, you know, hey, it's gonna heat your body up, it's gonna hurt, but it's gonna be fine. And then everybody's like cheering him on, and Chopper's calling Miyagi and Tristan, the other mink doctors who were helping him. And then they get a cannon and they fire it. And here we get the way they're going to disseminate the antidote. It's going to be a gas, chopperphage nebulizer. And Queen asks, like, hey, what do you think you're doing? And then, everybody's getting the quote unquote vaccine, although it's really not a vaccine. And then, Chopper's like, there are thousands of people. This is it took too long to inject them one by one. This was the fastest way. So he then goes on to state that instead of trying to inoculate everybody one by one, which would have been the quote unquote sensible thing to do, but then even then Chopper's like, okay, in this situation, that's not the most sensible thing to do. If this virus wasn't so aggressive, then yeah, maybe we could try to start lining motherfuckers up. But with the virus acting the way it's acting, then it's being a battlefield. This is the best way to do it. So pretty much, he used the antibodies to create his own virus to counteract the ice-only virus. And then he even talks about how he's gonna, administer it via mist. So even Queen's like, wait a minute, the fuck? Like, how does some ragtag ass pirate crew get a doctor who can do that shit in the span of probably some minutes? Like, I'd say this was probably, in order to give it some narrative stakes, I'd say this was less than an hour. Like, you had less than an hour and you did this shit. And then Chopper explains, like, yeah, dog, look, in order to get stronger, we had to, go some places, train some places, pretty much talking about the time skip. Like, we had to go all over the world to train. Like, we aren't like this, like, we might be small, but we are not playing a game. And then Queen's like, why would you bother to cure my guys? Like, that's not good. And then Chopper really doesn't answer the question. He's just like, viruses are bad and aren't meant to use weapons, which I agree. Like, even whenever I'm watching like a movie or a game or we're playing a game or something where they're using a chemical weapon, it's like I'm all for like poison, but like a real chemical weapon like a virus, it's like, okay, yeah, it might be good in the short term, but you're eventually gonna lose sight of it. You're gonna stop being able to control it, and this is gonna fuck y'all up too. Which Chopper here says, he's like, look, you can't be doing that. Viruses aren't gonna use weapons; they'll slip out of your control in the end. Like, so it's then that he pulls out that Gatling gun out of his mouth, which we still don't know what the fuck Queen is. So it's then that he starts shooting bullets out of his Gatling gun. And the cured pleasures and gifters, the pleasures and the waiters, then block the bullets. And then Queen's like, get out of the way. And they're like, nah. And they're pretty much like, nah, you nearly killed our brothers and he saved our lives. He's like, look, hey, even if they do lose, we'd rather die on the side of the people who fuck with us than you. And then everybody kind of starts rallying behind Chopper. And then everybody's like, no, die, Queen. So Queen's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go in. But at the very last second, we see Marco turn his wings into fire, which, yet again, he's a phoenix. He grabs Queen around the neck, restraining him. And he tells Chopper, nice job. Calls him a raccoon dog, and that's gonna become pertinent. And then, while he's holding Queen, choking him out, he's like, go ahead, pop him one. Motherfucker deserves it. And he thanks Marco, and he's like, I got one other thing to say, as he's popping a rumble ball, which we haven't seen in a while. He turns to the monster point and slaps the shit out of Queen. And even calls him blood. He says, I'm not a raccoon dog, which everybody has that face like, ooh, like they said something bad. Like, and the thought bubble's like, ooh, sorry. And it's funny, even Drake is like, my bad, dog. Okay. And then we go back into the right brain tower that's inside the dome. So yet again, Yamato and Shinobu are running through with Momonosuke clinging to not Shinobu, Yamato's back, and he's getting kind of down on himself, like, man, I'm weak, I'm foolish, I can't do anything, and like, hey, everybody thinks so highly of me, but I haven't done anything to deserve any of that. But even Shinobu's like, you've been brave, which you have to give him credit, especially from back in the beginning. I think it was one of my first reviews when Kaido's like, look, if you just renounce your family name and everything, I'll let you go. I don't care. but you know, the Kozuki clan is my target. So if you're a Kozuki, if you ride with them, you gotta die with them. You're like, hey, like, look, if you ride with it, if you slide with them, you gotta die with them. And he, you know, he showed that even a little kid, he got a pair of steel and he kept it. So I understand, you know, her, you know, Shinobu's like, hey, you're braver than you think. Like, that took nuts. I know grown men who would have bitched, but he didn't. So then he transformed, like while he's still in Yamato's clothes hiding, he transforms into the dragon, saying that he's not brave, and he's kind of, it looks like he's kind of starting to fly away. But we go over to the guest parlor, and it's here we find out some really interesting information. Then, you know, the CP0, they're like, speaking of Kaido, back in the day when the Navy held him, Vegapunk extracted Kaido's bloodline elements, his lineage factors, and used them to create an artificial devil fruit. Now, after this, the government demanded that they hand over the fruit, but Vegapunk was never happy with the results and told him it was a failure and stored it on Punk Hazard. So one of the other guys in the mask who's playing Shogi, watching the Shogi Boy, is like, why are you bringing this up now? And, you know, the guy who with the, you know, the one black eye and one white eye, who's the one who's initially talking about it, he's like, look, let's just hope the fruit got blown up. But he's like, according to the G5 reports, one of the labs was still functioning at the time of the explosion. He's thinking to himself, I'm just glad it was a failure. So even though Vegapunk thought that fruit was a failure, it's looking like there is some power that fruit has that they fear. And even then, because we know Kaido's devil fruit, the fish fruit mythical model, Azure Dragon, that's the official name. Now Kaido's had that shit for at least 38 years. So, and it can be assumed, well, 38 years since the God Valley incident went down. Now, the thing you have to realize is, yet again, Kaido had the fruit. So probably when all this capturing, you know, it says he's been captured, they tried to kill him, couldn't do it. But it can be assumed that when Kaido was captured, he already had the fruit, and what Vegapunk extracted was part of whatever changed his DNA, because we know that devil fruits affect DNA, or how they are referred to in the One Piece world, lineage factor. So that devil fruit was created from the blood of a devil fruit user. So even though he might view it as a failure, that might mean that Momonosuke has the ultimate artificial devil fruit, which might as well be a real one. But we'll see. I don't think that's the last we're going to hear of this. So then we cut to the part of this chapter that I hate the most and I'm going to rant about. We cut to the treasury repository, pretty much the store where they store all the treasure, where the scabbards are being held. So we see everybody, they're getting up, you know, everybody's still hurt. They're like, hey, somebody tend it to us. So even Kawamatsu's like, I saw somebody, but it had to be a dream, it couldn't be true. So Kinemon's like, you know, so everybody's wondering who tended to them. But Kinemon's like, you know, Luffy's group, they're fighting Kaido. The battle's still raging on. We still have work to do. And then the mysterious figure who helped them says, just look at you. You've gone through hell. I've missed you. You're so much older now. And it reveals that it's Odin. And everybody's like, Lord Odin, which is like tear up and shit. All right, rant time. If you want to know my thoughts and just bonk out now, I don't like this chapter at all. And it's part of a long-standing gripe I've had with One Piece. It's like, it's like I've had it, but it's like Oda's done such a great job in the past. I've kind of been able to let it go and not pay attention as much to it. But this chapter, if this sticks, I can't do it. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna quit One Piece, but I'm like, man, fuck it. Stakes are bullshit. Okay. It looks like that's Kozuki Odin from, like, he survived. Okay, well, actually, no. Let's start earlier with Hyogoro. Now look, I kind of figured he wasn't gonna die, but I was hoping they weren't gonna cheese it out. It's like, an example of this can be earlier in the series with Pound from Whole Cake Island. Pound didn't die. In case you didn't know, the cover story's been telling the story. Pretty much after Oven apparently stabbed him, he was on a raft, floated all the way to Dressrosa, where he met up with his daughters and Beg's crew. Well, Lola, her sister Chiffon, Beg's crew, all that shit. And I'm like, even then, I hated it, but it's like, okay, it wasn't talked about in the story. We can pretty much gloss over that shit. We're gonna find out about that one day, because I doubt we're done with begging them just yet. But it's like, okay, I can deal with it, whatever. Because for a long time in One Piece, you can say that, people don't die in the present, which I kind of hate, especially for Hero Girl. It's like it'd be a passing the torch moment. It's like the old Yakuza boss dying and one of the other Yakuza bosses being like the big boss. But here, you hyped him up, made it seem like he was gonna die, and then you kind of took the emotion out of it. It's like the emotion, it's kind of like a gymnastics performance. You didn't stick the landing. You wanted us to care. Like, I think Kill Girl's pretty cool, but it's like, him dying, okay, makes sense, your time's passed, dog. But now you're saying that you save him at the last moment, and I think it would have been better if he died, and then Chopper like, oh, the medicine's done, the medicine's done, and they're like, well, we had to kill him, and then it's like, okay, from now on, okay, nobody else dies. I bet everything that we saw from him would have came to this point where, he couldn't be saved. But at the same time, it's like the third Hokage or even Whitebeard. He became the bridge and the example that pushed the new generation on. But in here, it's like, okay, he's survived. So pretty much all that emotion, all that heartfelt shit was pretty much for nothing. I understand, stakes, the last minute switcheroo, but it's like, it kind of kills it, because it cheapens this battle. It's like, okay, nobody's really dying. It's like, if this is the case, like, y'all are outnumbered. B, y'all are fighting two Yonko at once. It's like, okay, there needs to be some loss. It's like, you can't go in this battle with everybody. You can't get out of this battle with everybody you came in with. There's got to be some stake. Something's got to be lost. And after, you got to look back like, damn, bro, these are the type of motherfuckers we're dealing with now. But you're just not. And then with Odin at the end, I think it might be maybe because I think the leader of the Oniwabanchu, I think it's Fukurokuju. I think he disappeared. I think that he's not the one who pretended to tend to them. Like, it might have been somebody else, and now he transformed to Odin, and now he's gonna be like, he's gonna do something. It's like, okay, I could understand that. Like, okay, let me see. I want to get at these guys, but who can I transform into? Somebody they're not gonna expect, and somebody who they're not gonna distrust. Odin. But we don't know that, because who knows? Cause I even examined the swords. I'm like, wait a minute, he has two swords, but Odin's swords were kept by old man Hitetsu, and one was given to Zoro. But I looked at the swords, the guard on the hilt, different, so they're replacement swords. But my thing there, same thing with Hirogoro. This whole arc, we've heard about Odin, his story, and how kind of tragic it was, and how that tragedy eventually led to everything we're going through now. And even then, his tragedy was going to lead to, good things. He shouldn't have left Wano. If he'd never left, I don't think Wano would have ever been taken over. Orochi would have been a problem, but he wouldn't have been as big of a problem. But him leaving led to Roger being able to find the One Piece, and, kind of the Scabbards being spurred on to, hey, we need to open this country just like Lord Odin wanted to. And yet again, I know nobody dies in current One Piece, very, very few exceptions. But now you're saying that Odin didn't die? Bro, really? So yet again, all that emotion that we felt up until this point, the tragedy of Odin, it's nothing. It's like, yet again, I say this up front. It could be a bait and switch. That could not be the real Odin, because Yet again, the motherfucker was boiling oil and got shot in the face. Come on now. I don't give a fuck. Like, dog, something's gotta give. But that's my thing. It's like with your girl and then with Odin in the same chapter, like, so pretty much, you know, stakes are nothing at this point. Like I said, I know, unfortunately in One Piece, nobody died. Nobody dies in the present. But at least in the past, with like Nami's mom, Bellmare, with Zoro, with Kuina for Zoro, you know, Ace and Whitebeard, you know, I mean, they're the lone exception, but I'm talking about like past that, like Hero Luck for Chopper. It's like, okay, when motherfuckers die, they die. Like, okay, in the present storyline, everybody's gonna get a pass, but at least like those deaths, you know, that happened in the past that spur you on, those stick. So I don't know, bro. Like I said, I don't like I said, Hero Girl's in stone. He's not dead. Okay, cool, whatever. I hate that shit. But with this Odin thing, if it turns out to be the real Kozuki Odin, bruh, stake, like, honestly, it hurts One Piece. It hurts it as a series. Cause like, look, man, I know sometimes, you know, cause I mean, it'd be cathartic. It'd be like, you know, well, not cathartic, but it would be good. You know, Momonosuke gets his father, you know, I think her name was Hiyori. His sister, I think her name was Hiyori. But it's like, oh, you know, she gets her dad back. Like, you know, that part of the family gets to be a good, happy family. But it's like, yeah, but if that's the case, then none of this shit should have happened. It's like, if he was alive all this time, then, you know, Kaido shouldn't have been able to get as big as he did. Like, there should have been, some of this shit should have been able to have been prevented. Is my thing. But I'm kind of on the fence about it. But I'm trying to believe in Oda, like, okay, that's not really Odin, that's somebody else. This is gonna be a bait and switch. I'm really hoping, because if not, I mean, damn, bruh. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the chapter. Yet again, I feel so great to be back. I missed y'all. Thank you so much for watching to the end. This has been your boy the D signing out. I hope you have a great day, and I'm holla at you on the next one. See ya.